Welcome to Gearheads. So today we're going to be installing brand new tie rod ends into my Miata.
Yeah, so we were doing the coilovers on Matt's Miata, and that was actually some time ago, but while we were down there we realized that the boots on there were torn, and you can also tell if your tie rod ends are worn if you start making popping noises if you're driving and turning, even if you're just in a parking lot. If you start hearing a pop noise when you're turning left and right, it could be bad ball joints or your tie rod ends going bad. So it's important to keep those things checked out, go into the car and look at them once in a while, because if those things go bad, and it actually breaks while you're driving, you could have your wheel, well, first the tie rod end, you won't be able to steer that wheel at all anymore, and if a ball joint breaks, then it's even worse. The wheel will just collapse out of the car halfway, which is no good. So this is actually a pretty easy job. It shouldn't take us very long, but we're gonna go ahead and bang it out and show you guys how to do it.
Woo. Alright you guys, so first things first, go ahead and lift the car, put it safely on jack stands, and take your wheels off, and that's gonna give you access to the tie rod ends here. So this is going to be the outer tie rod end that we're replacing. It's held on by two 17mm nuts, and we're going to start by actually cracking the inside nut loose first. So we're going to start by cracking this nut. Now after you crack it, you're going to want to leave it right where it is. And the reason is because when you put in the new tie rod in, you want to save as much of your alignment as you possibly can. Now, it's always a really good idea to get in alignment after, but for now we want to keep it as straight as possible. Next, we're going to remove the castle nut up here. So you're going to need a pair of needle nose pliers in order to unfold that cotter pin and pull it out of the top there. So the next step here is we're actually going to remove the tie rod end from the spindle. And there's actually a few methods on how to remove it. The first one is that you can go to your local auto parts store and rent what's called a pickle fork. Or you can buy it, it's only a few dollars. And the idea with the pickle fork is that you hammer it in just like a chisel. And when you hammer it in, it'll separate the tie rod end from the spindle. The other method, and the method that I'm going to use, is actually just hammering the spindle directly. And the idea is that if you hammer it from a few different sides, you'll pinch the tie rod end just enough that it'll actually let itself go free. So we're going to hit this side a couple times, hit this side a couple times, hopefully it'll crack itself free.
Voila!
There we go. Nice and easy.
I think that's easier than using a pickle fork.
That was way easier and a lot faster. Alright, let's go ahead and spin this guy off. Alright, so here we have the new one. Nope. So we're going to go ahead and reinstall the nut on top. The nut that we're actually putting in, the new one, is going to be a nylon locking nut. Now tightening this down can give you a problem sometimes. What will happen is that the tie rod end won't be snug enough inside of the spindle, and trying to tighten down that nylon locking nut will actually start spinning the tie rod end. What you can do is hammer the tie rod end up into the spindle, and that should usually keep it snug enough until you can tighten it down. Some of these actually come with a zert fitting on the bottom. So what you're going to want to do is remove that zert fitting first and then hammer it up. Go ahead and get it nice and snug and then reinstall that zert fitting. So we're going to go ahead and try our luck with this and see how snug it stays until I can tighten it down. The other option is that if your new ones came with castle nuts, just go ahead and use the same method and tighten it down as much as you can with that castle nut. And hopefully your new package came with new cotter pins, because you're probably not going to want to reuse the old ones. Alright, don't forget to lock this nut down. should be done. Now doing the other side is going to be exactly the same, so let's go ahead and do that real quick.
Alright guys, so that is how you install outer tie rod ends. It's more common to have to do those. We might do a video in the future on installing inner tie rod ends, but those don't tend to wear out quite as quickly. And always remember, if you're doing anything like this with the steering of the car, go get an alignment afterwards. It's just a good idea. Your car should be getting one once in a while anyways. Even just hitting a bump on the road can knock it off sometimes. So if it's been a while and you're doing this, go get an alignment. And always remember too, go check out on Fly Miata's site or some other places. They have performance alignments, and they'll give you advice on ways you can tweak your alignment, which makes the car even more fun to drive and handle a little bit more like you might want it to. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to go and check out all of our social media pages. Check out our Instagram, check out our Facebook, and go look at our website too. We're going to be putting articles up on there occasionally. I wrote up an article somewhat recently actually on turboing a Miata and all the stuff that goes into it, giving a rough overview of everything. And if you're interested in turboing your car or want to read more about it, go look at it because it gives you a lot of info, and I want to kind of give a good baseline of what's going on before we start doing a turbo build on our channel soon. So anyways, not that that's relevant to the tie rod thing, but I just wanted to let you guys know. So thank you so much for watching, guys.
Don't forget, keep wrenching!